All right, buckle up because today we're taking a deep dive into a really crucial and, let's be honest, often profoundly complex topic: navigating addiction treatment options. It's definitely one of those areas where making the right choice isn't just important, it can quite literally redefine a person's life trajectory. Now, we've got some incredibly detailed source material to work with today. It's from New Life Recovery Centers in San Jose, specifically an article they put out called San Jose Choosing Outpatient or Inpatient Treatment. And it's frankly a fantastic guide. It really lays out the nuances of different care types with admirable.
It really does. And what's truly illuminating in this source is how it immediately, dismisses the idea of a one-size-fits-all cure. Instead, it carefully distinguishes between various levels of care. You've got immersive inpatient residential programs on one end, and then these highly flexible outpatient options on the other. The core insight, really, is that effective recovery demands a tailored approach, recognizing that what works for one person, well, it simply won't for another. This customization, this personalization, it's absolutely vital for anyone looking for help or, supporting a loved one through this.
That's such a crucial starting point, getting that it's not just a single path, but like a whole spectrum of possibilities.
Mhm.
So how do we begin to unpack the specifics, the contours of these different options? We want you, our listener, to feel informed, right? Not overwhelmed when facing these kinds of critical decisions.
Exactly. And the journey to recovery, it often begins not just with wanting change, but with a critical initial assessment. Okay, which level of treatment is the most appropriate starting point? Our source material really emphasizes this, saying the choice can dramatically impact recovery success. And it's not just about, stopping the substance use. It's digging deeper, addressing the underlying causes, and finding the precise scaffolding of support needed for that profound, lasting change.
Okay, so not just a fork in the road, but more like an evolving spectrum of options. What does this term, this continuum of care, actually mean in practice?
Precisely. And it's a concept championed by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA. They call it the continuum of care. And what it underscores is that treatment isn't a single event, like a one-off thing. It's a dynamic progression of support levels. So an individual might start with really intensive care, maybe inpatient, and then gradually transition towards more independent settings as they get stronger in their recovery, as their needs evolve. The really profound implication here is that effective treatment has to be adaptable. It needs to meet an individual exactly where they are on their unique journey.
That adaptability piece sounds critical. It's not just the initial choice, but also, look, you said the ability to evolve. What usually triggers a move? Like, when might someone shift from one level of care to another?
That's a great question, because movement within the continuum is just as vital as getting the first step right. Often, a step down, say from inpatient to an outpatient program. That happens when a person has achieved some initial stability, they can manage cravings better, they've developed a basic set of coping skills. On the flip side, a step up might be needed if someone experiences a relapse or maybe faces new mental health challenges or finds their current environment just too triggering. It really is all about continuously matching the intensity of care to where that individual is right now, their stability and their support needs.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's start where most people's minds probably go first when they hear rehab, inpatient residential care. What does that actually involve? What's the core idea behind that immersive approach?
Right. So, inpatient residential rehab means an individual lives full-time, 24 hours a day, at a dedicated facility for a set period. Our source notes this can range, from several days up to several months. Often it's around 28 to 90 days, but that really depends on individual needs and, frankly, insurance coverage, too. SAMHSA defines it pretty clearly as a structured, intensive service delivered in a residential setting that provides 24-hour care. The core idea. Total immersion, a complete environmental reset.
That level of immersion, yeah, it sounds incredibly profound. Are there maybe less obvious psychological shifts or benefits that happen when someone completely steps away from their daily life, their environment, all those triggers?
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the clear benefits like 247 medical eyes on and being away from triggers, there's something really profound and often overlooked. I'd call it the power of forced detachment. It's not just about getting away from the substances, right? It's about providing a kind of psychological circuit breaker. Think about the constant hum, the background noise of past habits, social pressures, environmental cues that are always there in normal life. Inpatient care basically silences that hum. It offers this neutral space where people can start to relearn themselves without the immediate pull of their past lives, this reset capability. That's pretty unique to the inpatient setting. It fosters deep introspection, a real mental distance from the addiction itself.
A psychological circuit breaker.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a powerful way to frame it. But okay, with such an intensive approach, there've got to be significant trade-offs, right? What are the main advantages someone gets, and then what are the big considerations, the potential downsides they need to weigh up?
The advantages are definitely clear and significant. It is, without doubt, the most intensive support you can get. It provides a completely safe medical detox for severe withdrawal overseen by doctors and nurses. The environment is totally controlled, no access to substances, much less exposure to triggers. And it builds this strong peer community, which is really important. The main disadvantages, though, as our source points out, are, well, first, the higher cost compared to outpatient. And second, the need to actually leave work, school, home, family responsibilities for potentially quite a while.
Yeah.
For many, that means putting life completely on pause. And that's a massive commitment, a huge decision.
That cost and time commitment. Those are really significant hurdles. It just underscores the immense bravery and, honestly, the planning it takes just to start this journey. So, okay, if someone is really struggling, maybe severe addiction, facing dangerous withdrawal, or they just need that complete break from their environment to stabilize,
Yeah.
inpatient sounds like the foundational start they probably need.
Right. Now let's flip the coin. Let's look at outpatient rehab. This sounds like it offers a very different kind of setup, much more flexibility, more integration into daily life.
It does, significantly so. Outpatient treatment provides structured care, but without requiring that full-time residential stay. People live at home, keep up with some responsibilities while attending scheduled therapy sessions. Our source highlights two really powerful options here at New Life Recovery Center specifically: Partial Hospitalization Programs, or PHP, and Intensive Outpatient Programs, IOP.
Okay, PHP and IOP. The difference there seems to be about balancing intensity with that real-world integration. Can you maybe paint a clearer picture? How do those two feel different day to day for someone going through them? Absolutely. Let's try. Think of PHP as a highly structured bridge. Patients attend full-day treatment sessions, usually about 6 hours.
6 hours a day.
Yeah, typically 5 days a week, often like a 9 to 3 schedule. So it's kind of like having a full-time job, but the job is recovery. This program involves intensive group therapy, individual counseling, medication support if it's needed, and life skills training. It's really ideal for folks needing significant therapy and oversight, but who don't need that 24/7 supervision anymore. It allows for that gradual re-entry into home life, but with a lot of support still.
Got it. And IOP, I saw Super Flex IOP mentioned in the materials,
Ooh.
which sounds, well, pretty intriguing.
Right. So IOP, including that Super Flex IOP option, offers much more part-time therapy schedules. This is specifically designed for individuals who really must keep up with work or school or major family commitments. The Superflex option is particularly innovative, actually. It lets people mix and match sessions morning, afternoon, evening, usually about 3 days a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it makes it incredibly adaptable to a busy life. It ensures treatment can be integrated without forcing everything else to stop. And SAMHSA describes IOPs generally as being for people who don't need medical detox or that 24-hour watch, but still need robust support, help with relapse management, coping strategies, all while living in their regular environment.
I can just imagine that Superflex IOP, it must be a lifesaver for so many parents or busy professionals. It's easy to picture someone hitting a morning session, then going to work, or maybe doing an evening one after the kids are asleep. It really humanizes the challenge of fitting recovery into an already packed life.
It truly does. And importantly, both PHP and IOP provide evidence-based therapy. Things like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which helps clients spot and challenge those negative thoughts and behaviors fueling addiction. Plus, relapse prevention strategies and that vital peer support. They're all about equipping individuals with tools for the long haul, for long-term sobriety. The core difference really boils down to that balance. The intensity of daily structure versus scheduling flexibility, allowing people to weave recovery into their ongoing lives and responsibilities, which naturally brings us to a really crucial point. With all these options, how do you decide? How do you choose between inpatient and outpatient? Our source gives some excellent, very practical factors to weigh up.
Right, because at the end of the day, it comes down to a deeply personal assessment, doesn't it? Individual circumstances, individual needs. What's the absolute first, maybe non-negotiable question someone should ask themselves?
The severity of the addiction, that's primary. If you've struggled with addiction for a long time, if you've had frequent relapses, or if you experience significant uncomfortable or even dangerous withdrawal symptoms when you try to stop, then inpatient rehab is almost always going to be recommended. The immediate safety, the intensive support it offers, those are paramount in that situation. For, let's say, milder addictions, or for someone who has really strong support at home and is highly motivated, outpatient can be very effective. They might not need that 247 medical watch.
Okay, severity first. And what about the medical side? Is detox always needed, and how does that influence the choice?
Yeah, whether detox or close medical supervision is needed is absolutely critical. If someone needs close monitoring during detox to manage potentially dangerous withdrawal, like from alcohol or benzodiazepines, then residential care is truly the safest place to start. It's just too risky to try that without medical oversight. But if medical detox isn't required, maybe it's already completed, then outpatient options become much more viable. They offer that less restrictive environment to continue the treatment journey.
And I can imagine your home environment. That plays a huge, maybe often underestimated role too, influencing whether treatment sticks or not.
Massively influential, yes. Outpatient rehab works best if your home environment is genuinely stable, safe, and totally free of substance use. And ideally filled with supportive people. If that's not the case, if there are triggers everywhere, unsupportive influences, maybe even other people actively using this not, then the controlled therapeutic bubble of inpatient treatment offers that much needed sanctuary. It removes those external pressures, allows for complete focus on healing. Sometimes just removing yourself from a familiar, difficult environment is a form of medicine in itself.
That's a great point. Finally, for so many people, the practical stuff. Balancing recovery with existing life responsibilities, work, family, school. How do those very real concerns factor in?
Indeed. And this is often the biggest barrier people face. If you simply cannot step away from work or school or critical family duties, then a flexible program like that Super Flex IOP we talked about, the one highlighted in our source, that might be the perfect solution. It allows you to get high-quality treatment without putting everything else on hold. It makes recovery accessible even when life is incredibly busy. The critical insight there, I think, is that some treatment models are now designed around life rather than demanding life stop for treatment, and that drastically improves accessibility for so many.
Okay, so we've talked through the concepts at different levels of care. Let's make this real now. Our source material comes from New Life Recovery Centers in San Jose.
Yep.
How do they actually fit into this whole continuum we've been discussing?
Well, New Life Recovery Centers, they were founded back in 2004, and they offer that full, seamless continuum of care right there in San Jose. Their services cover everything from alcohol and drug detox through inpatient residential treatment, then step-downs to PHP day treatment, and finally, their highly flexible Super Flex IOP. And they don't just focus on the addiction itself, they emphasize a holistic approach. That means addressing the body, mind, and spirit, integrating things like mindfulness, maybe nutrition, alongside the core therapies.
And they've been doing this for 21 years now. That feels pretty significant in this field. Suggests a real depth of experience, maybe evolution over time.
It's an incredibly powerful indicator, yes, of expertise and enduring commitment. Their programs are CRHOF accredited, which isn't just, a badge. It speaks volumes about adhering consistently to very high standards of quality care. They also integrate a range of evidence-based therapies like the cognitive behavioral therapy we mentioned and crucial relapse prevention planning. But what's particularly compelling, I think, is their strong focus on personalized recovery plans, really recognizing deep down that no two clients are the same and tailoring the treatment to individual needs, goals, which is fundamental to that whole continuum of care philosophy.
And for our listener who really values flexibility, that Superflex IOP you described, that sounds like a genuine differentiator, something that tackles a really common obstacle to getting care in the first place.
It absolutely stands out. It's designed specifically with busy professionals, students, parents in mind. Imagine someone with a demanding job or young kids at home. The Superflex model, offering morning, afternoon, and evening sessions. It truly works with those daily responsibilities, not against them. It's a very practical, really impactful solution to a common barrier, letting people weave recovery into their ongoing lives without that feeling of having to choose between treatment and life itself.
They also mentioned strong community support and family-centered care in the source. I imagine those elements are just crucial for long-term success, for truly sustainable recovery, even after the formal treatment program ends.
Yes, absolutely vital. Recognizing that addiction often impacts the whole family, not just the individual, sometimes called a family disease, is key. So their focus on family education, maybe counseling sessions involving loved ones, provides support to the entire family unit. And furthermore, connecting clients to local resources, strong peer networks. That significantly strengthens the recovery process. It builds a support system that extends way beyond the treatment facility walls. This kind of proactive, community integrated approach really helps build sustainable sobriety by creating a nurturing environment for the long haul.
Okay, so our source makes a point of highlighting their 21 years of successful addiction treatment. Why does that longevity, that history, matter so much in this particular field, especially for someone trying to choose from potentially many options?
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture for someone looking for help, that longevity 21 years like New Life Recovery Centers it signals several critical things that might not be immediately obvious. First, it points directly to a proven track record of success. I mean, guiding thousands of clients over 2 decades builds this invaluable practical knowledge, deep insight into what genuinely works over time. That offers a level of reassurance, a kind of institutional wisdom that, frankly, a newer program just hasn't had the time to develop yet.
So it's more than just a number. It's like a testament to a philosophy and methodology that's been refined through decades of real-world work.
Precisely. It also demonstrates adaptation and innovation over time. The field of addiction treatment, it evolves dramatically. Think about it. We've seen huge shifts in understanding co-occurring mental health issues, dual diagnosis, and massive advances in things like medication-assisted treatment, or MAT, which effectively combines medication with counseling for opioid or alcohol dependence. A long-standing center like this has had to continually adapt its programs and incorporate the latest evidence-based therapies. It ensures clients get care that's both current and effective, not stuck on outdated methods.
That's a huge point. Staying current, staying effective. Absolutely critical when you're dealing with something as complex and as evolving as addiction.
And finally, it usually indicates strong community roots and stability in staff and culture. Operating continuously for over 2 decades allows for these deep, established connections with local hospitals, therapists, peer support groups, community organizations. That expands the resources available to clients. This stability often translates into long-tenured staff, too, which contributes to a consistent, compassionate culture. Clients feel supported by a seasoned, empathetic team, and all of this, it culminates in credibility and recognition. Trust signals like that CRR for accreditation, consistent, positive client reviews, they reinforce a clear track record of ethical, high-quality care. It helps them stand out in what can be a crowded and sometimes confusing marketplace.
Wow, okay, what a truly illuminating deep dive that was. We've covered the crucial differences between inpatient and outpatient treatment, explored how a comprehensive center like New Life Recovery Centers offers that full, adaptable spectrum of care designed to fit individual needs. It's really clear that the journey to recovery is rarely, if ever, linear, but it's always personal.
Absolutely. And ultimately, understanding these options, understanding the profound implications of finding the right fit, it empowers you. It empowers you to make an informed decision, whether it's for yourself or for a loved one. There truly is no one-size-fits-all approach to addiction recovery, as our source clearly states. And that's actually a strength, not a limitation of the field. Whether it's the intensive reset of inpatient care or the integrated flexibility of an IOP, the right fit offers structured, holistic, evidence-based programs designed for lasting sobriety and ultimately a reclaimed life.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? It means recovery isn't just possible, it's sustainable. With the right guidance, with a program that understands and adapts to your unique life. And that journey, it can start with just a single informed step, knowing there are nuanced options out there, tailored specifically to your circumstances.
Which does raise an important question to maybe leave folks with. Beyond that initial choice of treatment level, what role do ongoing external factors really play? Things like access to continuing care, family involvement, maybe a strong, consistent alumni network. How much do those things solidify the hard-won gains from treatment and truly prevent relapse over the long haul, regardless of where someone actually started on that continuum?
That's a thought-provoking challenge, isn't it, for anyone on the path to lasting recovery? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and stay curious.